Hello, everyone. Imagine you are sitting on your screen and you go through one of these listing websites, let's say Zillow, land.com, and you see 5 acres of land out there for like $1,000. You are very excited. You drive to the place, you end up looking at it and you like it, and everything is for your understanding panning out. And later, when you down the line, you understand the piece of land which you bought wasn't actually yours. Your land was actually behind the lot which you went. And many a times people fall into this trap is because these listing websites have um, what's the right word to put on it? Ghost addresses. The reality with buying land on specific rural land is they don't have a physical address. So many a times sellers will put in a different APN, or what's the right word, a different neighbor's address, and you go and look at it and you think, oh, this is the highlight land, which is technically not what you're buying because it doesn't belong to you. Your lot is behind. And that's where a lot of these mistakes happen. Today, I'm going to be diving in to show you guys these um, issues, and let's walk through the slideshow that I have prepared for you. So again, just to recap, are you buying in swamp? The photos show a house site, the deed shows a wetland. A lot of buyers have been scammed every year because of not verifying these details. So what is a ghost lot? A property listing where the digital identity, the address photo does not match the legal identity. And that's what I want to say. Let me explain it to you in simple words. You might see some pictures, you might see an address. You go there, you look at the property, but that is not what you're buying. The legal deed or the plat map is pointing out to a different lot. And that is what I call the ghost lot. A lot of time, these scammers will use the neighbor's house because the actual lot has no address. A very common trait of buying rural land is a lot of these houses don't have an address. That's a whole process to get in an address. So many of these listing websites, especially in Zillow, you will see the neighbor's address. They might upload photos of the neighbor's dry land and make you believe that is what you're buying, but that's not the reality. So, what is the legal description switch? The contract might say lot 9, the swamp, but the very early point where I was telling you visited and you saw the land, it might be lot 8. And that was the dry land. And what you end up buying is the swamp. And you ended up paying or signing up the deed for the swamp. Um, as bad as it sounds, that is the reality, guys. So, why it happens? I would always want to educate my buyers. If you are buying from me, I would always walk you through this. Many a times, the due diligence aspect gets missed. We're so happy and we're so excited from the feeling of buying land for the first time. You end up going to Zillow. See, Zillow is a listing website. A lot of good things have come out of it. And many times, it is not the government. They will, all the data that is coming through in Zillow is user generated. Many times, it might be wrong. So it is not a government-based website, and if you are completely 100% relying on that, there is a chance where a mishap can happen. So I have 3 traps that I want to always mention and discuss. The first one was, which I call the duplicate APNs. Okay, let's give you a ground reality. Many a times in these counties, an APN gets reused. Let's say if you are searching for a property which is coming under Founders Land Group LLC, but if you go and verify on the county website, it says John Smith. Uh, this is where you must understand it's a red flag. If the one who's selling the land and what is not coming on the county's website don't match, that is where you need to amp up your due diligence. So let's take this example, parent parcel. This is what has been listed. This might be a 100-acre property. You're very excited. I'm getting 100 acres for, let's say, $10,000. Uh, but what has happened over time is that 100 acres has been divided into many sublots. Let's say lot A, lot B, lot C. And what you end up buying and whatever is putting on the deed might be lot A. So as you guys can see here, the listing might be, let's say, 5 acres for $10,000. You're seeing this on Zillow. But once you copy paste this APN, you might see, oh wow, wait a second. On the right hand side, you see the results. It is the owner is Grandma Jones. This is not Founders Land Group. And you might be thinking, you know what? I am buying a 0.23 acre lot, even though the Zillow says it is a 5 acre property. And that's why you might be losing your hard earned money, which is $10,000 for 5 acres, because it's technically just a small sliver of 0.23 acres. So, again, this is very important, guys. I've generated these images using AI just to make it simple for you, but this is time through time happening a lot of times with a lot of buyers, and you need to understand it on the conceptual level. How a parent parcel which has expired is still being used for lot A, lot B, and it's being recycled. Uh, but technically, it was never to be sold for the first place. So be extra careful, guys, what you're buying. Always double check on the county appraisers so you can at least verify who's the owner, who's selling what, versus buying ghost lot properties. Okay. Another very important people get it very mixed is, so let's say the plat map is showing a road, the Google Maps is showing a road, but the satellite view is showing a forest. You put in the GPS coordinates and you think, oh, you can drive there, but technically this never happened. The road was never built. And let me recap what I'm saying here. Let's say there was a developer who wanted to build across that 64 acres of property. There was projected use of, let's say, the road is going to be there and you should be able to buy it. But many times he went bankrupt and you ended up seeing a paper street. What that means is the road was supposed to be built there, but it never got bulldozed down. Unless you are carrying a bulldozer, guys, very difficult to access those properties. Gonna let me simplify this. Let's say somebody shows you an image. This is Washington Avenue. This is where the road is gonna go. This is where the lot is gonna be coming up. And you believe this image on the left. But the ground reality is this was a proposed road on the side that was supposed to be built between these heavily wooded trees. But since it never got built, you end up buying in one of these lots. You technically have no access. Um, this is unfortunately one of the very common things that we've seen. People end up buying paper street ghost roads. Um, there'll be another trick where I can be able for you to verify how to go about it, but these are the common traps that you guys need to do extra due diligence on. Okay, so this is a technical trap. Many times we do rely on the county GIS lines for our due diligence, but they are not always 100% correct. So while you're doing your own due diligence, many times you will see a GIS line shifted by 50 feet. You might be thinking you're buying very clean piece of land, which is away from wetlands, doesn't have surface water, has no floodplain, but the actual lines are sitting on a creek. Uh, Again, happens a lot of times. Then you imagine, let me explain you. This was the lot 5 which you bought. There's a water going through. You end up using the GIS map, and this is where you saw the lot 5. And you said, oh, this is perfect. It's near the creek. I'm going to have such a great property. I'm going to be building on it. But the ground reality is it wasn't actually generated correctly. There was a GIS shift when they were mapping it, and your actual lot might just be 30% of what you bought, and it's actually half away, half point above the creek. So you're technically buying a piece of land which you'll probably not be able to use completely, and you still have to pay taxes on it throughout your life. Again, very rarely happens, but it does happen. And the idea is not to scare you, but to educate you. And that's why we're having these more of these sessions where I'll keep on educating everybody who's watching this so you can make an informed choice. So yeah, exactly. This is what I'm trying to say. It has happened, this trap three. A seller sold 5 acres in Sunny Hills. It was actually 5 acres of retention pond. The buyer never checked the topography and he ended up buying in this lot five. And yeah, it's just sad that it happens. But I always want, especially out of state buyers, to have multiple tricks under their sleeve to verify and make an informed choice. Either buy from us or anybody else. Always do your due diligence. So the cost. So what's actually happening is you cannot build on it, you cannot sell it, and you're still paying taxes on it forever. That is why a lot of these will again go back into uh, tax loss auctions. A lot of times buyers are very unhappy because they feel they've been cheated upon, and which I understand, and which is really happening. But I would always say, please do your own due diligence. I'm going to share some tricks that can come in handy for you to make this informed choice. So I feel there's a three-step verification process for how would you always verify this. It is something that I use. Um, Always, there are multiple ways to go around it, but firstly, always verify the shape. Would always want to go to the county GIS map and the plat book and see how does your lot look. That is a very good, strong starting point so you can understand what kind of piece of land you're buying. Second is verifying the owner. Always go and check the county records. Whoever is selling to you, does he own? Does he or she own that piece of land too? Third is verify the dirt, satellite boots on the ground. There are definitely different ways of achieving this. Uh, Let me walk you through it in the later slides. So the very third point is verify the dirt. How to use it? Time travel. Google Earth Pro is one of the very few tools that are out in the market that give you a lot of data, actually meaningful insights, where you can actually time travel using the clock icon. Look for the land in winter when the leaves are gone, and is it wet? Is there land water standing on it? Uh, as you guys can see, this is just one of these images that Google Earth Pro has. When you use this tool, this is a desktop app version. Download it. You can put in the address or the area where you want to go. But you see this top um, right corner of this on the top, this corner itself. This is the clock button. What you can see is over the time how the land has changed. And this will help you understand what kind of ground it is on, what kind of trees were there, what kind of water is there. And this helps you understand if there's something built and that was demolished. Again, we'll be discussing a lot of these Google Earth Pro features in the future lives, but just a feature to know. This will give you a lot of clarity on how it goes. The second tool I would always send is send a letter to the neighbor. Um, there are multiple ways to reach out to the neighbors, but just send them a letter saying you're planning to buy a lot next to you. Is it right? And hopefully, if you have good neighbors, they will tell you the truth. If you can't actually drive there, this is one of the other tools that you can definitely leverage. Um, I know a lot of people might say this is not a tool, it's more like an expense. But before you're closing, let's say a $20,000 property, you would want to definitely get a boundary survey done. It is cheaper than losing $20,000 on a swamp. I would recommend if something you guys want to build, can always with us as well. If you want, you can always put the property on hold and get a survey done. And once you're like 1000% sure what you're buying is correct, then we can close. Again, we don't pay for the boundary surveys, but I would highly recommend if something that you think is part of your due diligence out of all the tools you're not going through, definitely get a survey done. We go through a very internal, um, strong due diligence process where we've been rejecting a lot of 80% of these lands. So you don't have to. We have a 30-point checklist that we definitely do. So we are pretty much confident in what we are selling. But I would always, always, always say do your own due diligence, call the counties, make some calls, be 100% sure. We've always put some tools on our website, which I'll walk you through to do your own due diligence. But having said that, uh, I would always ask my buyers to trust their instinct. The red flag checklist. Okay. Interestingly, if you see this, you have to run away. If it says, if for some reason the legal access is not mentioned, like if how you can get to the property, if the use is recreational use only and they're saying it's not R2 residential, price is too good to be true, guys, this in my mind is a checklist of red flags. I would want you to ask more questions and see why is this not being addressed and what is the issue out here. So I would always say this. Let me recap it. Zillow is marketing. The county record is law. Always by the law, not the marketing. Uh, we are in the business of selling land, and it's our responsibility to educate our buyers. I want you to be educated. You can trust a lot of these websites, but I would want you to finally make the call with your understanding and do the due diligence. Okay, quick quiz. What is a paper street? A street made of paper, a legal road easement that was never built, or a toll road? If you know the answer, guys, put it in the comment section or in the chat section. And whoever replies to this street quiz with the right answer, just reach out to me. We'll have some benefits or a gift for you just for answering this. So, how would you? I always give a homework for everybody. It's just like a clean way of understanding how much did you take out of this podcast. Just find a cheap lot on LandWatch, find it on the county GIS, do the shapes match. Once the shapes match, that is good to know. Tomorrow we'll be understanding the difference between gross versus net acres. Again, one thing I want to show you guys what we do at Founders Land Group here is make sure that each and every listing that we have on a property is giving you the tools for you to do your own due diligence. This is a 0.22 acre lot here in Putnam County, Florida. We usually list in the screen the snapshot details of what division and what zoning do we have. If there is any HOA, how much taxes are approximated, if there is nearby electricity, what are the GPS coordinates. But one of the another tool which I have is especially for the out of state buyers is where we send in one of our Photoshop and photo drone experts out here for these guys to actually reach out to the land and take a 3D virtual tour for you can understand what you're buying without even leaving your house. So this helps you make this informed choice and at least understand. In addition to the Google Earth option, which I have listed out earlier, this is a very solid option in our perspective. Also, what I've done is give you key access to one of these interactive maps on Land ID, where you guys can technically do and check if the property which is listed out here on that specific avenue has any surface water, or let's say, is it near wetlands? Does it have any transmission lines? Um, it just comes in a FEMA floodplain. So what it does is also gives you a clean idea when it comes to additional checks. You guys are not buying in these areas which are technically swamps and unbuildable. You would definitely want to understand you're not buying in these properties as well, which might end up not helping you with the building process itself. Again, you can always reach out to us. You can secure this property for $495. It's a document processing fee. Again, if you guys want to go and do your own due diligence, you can put one of these properties on hold. You can select the 0.22 Ave, initiate the hold, and that way you can bring it off market. And during the time you're doing your due diligence, if you have any questions and want to reach out to us, you can always contact me. We can do a live video call one of the days. Pretty much open to accommodate all of our buyers. We are open from 9 through 9 Eastern time. So always, all you have to do is select time, put in your name, email, and or the text message number where you want to get updates, and just schedule an event. If you guys don't feel like booking a video call, you can always send us a message. I will be more than happy to answer. And if you guys want access to a private inventory, just put in your email address and just click on get priority access. I'll make sure you guys get timely updates or any new inventory that has been put in our website. I hope this ghost lot scams uh, was very helpful. Any feedback that you guys have, let me know. I'll be more than happy to work on bringing you more of this content. It was one of the things that I wanted to make sure my buyers have access and understanding of what kind of scams are happening here and how they can avoid or mitigate these with some simple tools out there which are there for free. Again, thank you for joining today's stream. This is Harpreet Vasan from Founders Land Group, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with gross versus net acres.